Our total focus in our newsletter is speculation, not politics. When we have situations where political impacts affect how we speculate, we want to be able to mention that. But I want to make sure that we all know we have no intention of recommending any person or any political party for the purposes of politics. That is not our intention at all. We have to give a lot of credit to President Trump and the Trump administration, in my opinion, for how they're handling the war with Iran, particularly in the sense of, at this point, the number of soldiers being killed on both sides is being kept at a minimum because a lot of the war is shifting over to economic areas. But the most important thing that just happened in the last couple of weeks is that the U.S. Navy and the technology they have to allow for safe passage of the Strait of Hormuz, despite the efforts of the Iranian military to block it, has been quite extraordinary. 2 weeks ago, I think the number of ships, as I said in the newsletter, that had come through was relatively small. I think no more than 30 for that week. And that moved 2 weeks ago to 150, and last week to close to 200. And the reason is that the technology, as I said, of the U.S. Navy to block Iran from attacking the ships is getting better and better and better. And even the most recent attacks were small enough so that they didn't block the ships from continuing. This is, in my opinion, extremely important because the more oil we move safely and with no blocking by Iran and getting it close to back as an international waterway, the better it is all the way around. And of course, from a speculative standpoint, the interesting aspect of that, one of them at least, is that we're starting to see oil prices, crude oil prices, starting to roll over and go back down. And I think that that can be longer term meaning within the next month or two, a significant advantage to the U.S. and to the Trump administration as we get closer to the midterms. So looking at how this one factor of the ability to increase the amount of crude oil coming out of through the straits and back and forth is benefiting us in a number of ways, including as speculators, because the fact that if we can get more good news for the Trump administration and the Republican Party, that strengthens our resolve that we have in Kalshi, a very good bet to bet that the Republicans will hold on to the House. Part of the reason I'm intrigued with that is that we have a pretty astute, I think you would agree, politician, Speaker Newt Gingrich, who thinks that the odds of a major move toward the Republicans in the midterms have been increased in large part to the rise of the Democratic Socialist candidates locked into the Democratic Party in a number of primaries. You put it all together, and I think that what's happening with Iran is very beneficial for peace, because what you will have is a decreasing ability by the Iranian economy to even satisfy even the most basic needs of the Iranian people. And recently we've had some comments by both the president of Iran and the Speaker of the House, obviously the political types, who are saying we should make a deal, we should end the war, and that can only happen because of the strong opinion with which I agree with the president, that we need to make sure that Iran does not become a nuclear power. If we have that, then let's have peace and let's have Iran back in the company of nations. So that's where we stand on Iran. If you want a copy of my book, The Speculator's Mosaic, just check below, or it can also be bought on Amazon.